Yo, what the fuck is up? Up to Something Media, we're back. It's been a while. I know it's been a little while, but we're back in full effect. And it's good to see my boys. You know what I'm saying? It feels, I mean, I see them all the fucking time. But you know, it feels good to be back. I'm going to start it off, or you want to start the intro?
Daniel, Luka Doncic.
Diego, you know.
That's it.
You know the vibes.
Y'all, what?
I'm kind of shy. I
It's
haven't
been so long. So many different nicknames.
I haven't been here in a while.
What? Okay, hey. Daniel, you have hella nicknames.
Just Luka Doncic.
Yo, he's scared.
Him, if you want him to call me him.
He is him. Then we got Diego, the Bolivian. What?
The Bolivian bulldog, you know.
Exactly.
I got that dog in me.
Hey, you sound like a Marvel superhero for Hispanic heritage.
Bro, I am.
The Bolivian
Yo, I ride a llama.
Issue 2.
Yo.
Okay, and you already know what it is. Your boy Renee, a.k.a. Renee the Rager, a.k.a. Renee the Goat, a.k.a. Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. You remembered all of them. Nice.
I did. Jeez.
It's been months.
A new nickname coming soon. Who knows? And then we have a long time coming guest. We've been wanting to have him on the podcast forever. A mentor, dope ass musician, amazing photographer. Man, I just don't know what this guy has. A lot of achievements. Give it up for
Cabus.
Yeah, let's go.
What's up, man?
What up, man?
I'm honored to be here, man.
Man, it feels good because it's like we've seen a lot of the music that you put out, but
long time coming.
I've seen a lot of the content you guys put out.
Dude, and you're support. And
you
we
day one too.
You supporting.
Thank you for
yeah.
First of all, thank you for like always supporting us, no matter like either being at the show, sharing our shit. You know, like especially I think a lot of creatives like something as simple as sharing goes a long way.
It does. Just sharing anything like in general. Like for me, it's about if I didn't like the person or the people, I wouldn't share it. But if I do, I will always share it.
Right.
Dang.
Not only that, but giving us many opportunities,
bro,
to show our talent.
Exactly,
Thank
man.
you.
The pop-up 1, pop-up 2. Pop-up 1 was legendary, bro. Like,
Damn.
It was a random night. We had no idea that was gonna happen.
Yo, so for the people that don't know about the pop-up, how would you describe it?
So the pop-up, putting it into terms of what happened around the world, like with the whole pandemic and everything. So it was around April of 2020, and just as the world, but Texas was already open regardless. But
2020.
Yo,
this was April 2020.
April 2020.
This was right when the pandemic started.
Jeez.
April 2020. Yeah.
Damn.
And we were like,
Damn. We old, man.
No, hold up.
I do remember it was like prime pandemic.
No, it was April. It was in
It
April.
was.
It was
20
April, March, April.
It was 2020.
It was.
That's
it
what like
was.
when
It
the
was-
time when it was like, yo, you're hanging out with people. You're like, yo,
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah, we were at a- yeah.
be quiet.
It was 2020, and what's cool about it is
was like
it
Woodstock.
first started out as an idea, and you guys were a part of it first because before even the pop-up happened,
Yeah.
we had a listening party at the studio
Yes,
where it
sir.
was made, and that was the
Dude.
first time we all linked up. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Great
saying?
experience.
we
Yeah.
took some
That
hard
was
pictures in the
great.
studio.
That was
hey.
fun. We was like this.
Yeah.
While
The yoga girl.
Yes.
Great experience. My very first studio listening experience like that. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Dude, it was dope. It was a vibe,
We
man.
did a listening party. We didn't know
Yeah.
how it was gonna go.
Yeah.
Bunch of people came through
Yeah.
from all walks, and we all sat down. We listened to the songs, and through that night, we were like, "Man, we should do something like
Yeah.
we should create like a show around this and just do a show where we play all the new songs for everyone." So that was kind of like how it was birthed. But then, really, what I feel like was great as far as the promotion of it was your trailer that you created.
Ah, nah, don't.
He created this
gas me.
trailer. No,
Yeah.
and it had
Computer
with ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah,
that shit
And
was clean.
We shared, it was like guerrilla marketing because we didn't hire no PR, no nothing. And so we basically created this free party for the public because, we didn't want to charge people to see an act they'd never heard before. So we wanted to create something of it. So outside of just like music itself, we were like, what can we do? And I was like, we should try and get vendors, like local vendors, to get them involved because they probably haven't been making any money since the pandemic. So this could be a kind of a new way to do that. And then to keep in mind those people who were still kind of nervous about everything, we wanted to give it an outdoor and indoor element.
A hybrid model.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We packed that bitch out, bro.
but we didn't know. We did not know.
We didn't
Yeah,
know.
I got
was-
there. That hole was like a flea market.
It was. Well, we said it was free. We were like, it's free. I had a friend of mine who has a liquid catering company, HD Liquid Catering. Shout out
y'all.
shout out to Don and the crew. But they came through with complimentary drinks. We also had other liquor and beer companies like supply drinks. We had no food, which was probably not a good thing, but
No, but we did have food.
for the second one.
No, for the first one too, we had the food trucks.
We had the food trucks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember?
but that
I
wasn't free
never
though.
had it.
The food trucks wasn't free. But they were selling out. They did
Yeah,
good that
they did.
night.
Yeah, they did.
And I remember like at 6 when we opened up the doors and it looked dead. And in
Yeah.
my mind I was thinking, well, this is probably going to be one of those nights where you thought it was going to be whatever. And then I went to go use the bathroom and then I came back and it's just like people
Dude,
were
yeah.
just coming through.
Yeah, bro.
And then Sudi closed the night out with her
Dude.
DJ set.
Killed it, bro.
That was such a good experience.
It was
It's,
so
it was.
much
It's not what
fun.
I expected because when I showed
Yeah.
up, it was like an open experience. There was a bunch of people. Like I tell you, it was
Yeah.
like a flea market. One unit had like a bar.
Yes.
One unit had like the vendors with the clothes, and then the little garage had you performing and stuff. It was like you can do everything. You will grab a
yeah,
drink.
you
take a
legit
look
had
at
a
the
festival.
clothes.
You legit had a festival.
Legit, and like
Yeah.
and where it was set up is like a storage unit, right?
We was a storage unit. There's a recording studio where we recorded the EP.
Yeah,
They had
that's
a
right,
boat
yeah.
there.
They had
Was
a
it
boat.
someone
Boat.
a clean ass boat?
Is the boat still there? You know?
I have no idea.
There was a free boat. Maybe we had to drop the address, but it's a free ass boat.
Actually,
If you're still there.
I think the boat is still there.
That's
Oh.
a up to something boat.
Hey, but he said it's going to cost a lot of money for it to lift it and take it.
Overall, a good experience though. Like
Bro,
you really
amazing
put on,
experience.
like you said, it was guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
It was on the fly because we went to the listening party earlier that year, right?
Yeah.
I will say this, and
Yeah.
only because I know
Oh,
what I can
God.
say on this show.
Oh,
You can say anything,
The
bro.
craziest shit that happened was at the end of the night. Some people are still there. Some people are dancing. Some people are talking.
My God.
And I hear this, and I'm like, what? And I go, and they're like, yo, look at the bathroom. And I was like, what?
Oh,
And I opened the
yeah.
door, and someone had just
Took-
took a wet one. Like it was like diarrhea
Dude.
in like the shower part. And it was
Right.
just like and everyone was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I immediately, because I knew what was going to
But
happen,
you took it like
I
a
took-
champ,
I
bro.
took a shovel.
Oh no.
And I shoveled that crap, and then I had to get water and
Bro.
clean on my knees the whole thing and spray it out. It was, but
Damn.
it was.
Oh,
That night was
you're so
epic.
brave.
Damn.
You're
But here's
so
what I
brave.
was thinking, because I knew, like, that feeling like after a long night, I didn't want to come the next day
Good morning,
and then have to be
Yeah.
cleaning that stuff,
And-
and it would smell worse.
Dude, because it was like 3-4 in the morning, bro.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I was like,
Yeah.
you got to get it done. But just the
Gotta get
sight of it, it looked like.
I'm sorry, but it doesn't help that you look like a janitor. I'm
I
sorry.
love this. I love
I'm
this.
sorry.
Yes,
You're fresh as hell.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
but I'm sorry.
yes. He said that
bro,
was
that
good.
scarred you. He said, "I'm never leaving without my fucking workwear."
No, man, I'm always gonna rock it. But it was wet. It was like a
Bro,
mountain. It was like a
It
mountain.
smelled so bad,
It
bro.
smelled so bad.
It smelled so bad. bro.
Damn. Who was the culprit, man? Like,
We
y'all
don't
should
have
check
any
footage.
guesses.
No idea.
Post
There
them on
was-
Instagram
There was
if
no
you
footage.
know anything about
Yo,
this
dude,
individual.
what
And
if
they
they're watching right now
squatted,
with that
bro.
shit?
Think about that
They
shit,
squatted.
bro.
It they must have ate something. It must have been the barbecue or the grilled
I don't
cheese
know.
sandwiches.
That's how good it is.
like
That's how good it is.
with the mixtures of the drinks that were being served. I don't know,
Oh my
man.
god, dude. Yeah, I was super lit that night. When I introduced you for and DMX just passed, I think.
Yes,
And that's when we did the and you're like, yo, like what's the intro song you want to do? And you're like,
Stop.
drop.
Stop.
People were getting lit to that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I hear the video back and I'm like, oh my god, people were low key screaming that bitch. That
Let's
was-
rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Bronco Nation, let's ride.
Let's ride.
That was one of those moments that, man, I'll always remember.
Yeah, man.
That was just so much fun.
What
Dude.
was the biggest difference between like the pop up 1 and pop up 2 to you? Because that was a much later, different venue.
It was Pop Up 2 was more orchestrated. It was more planned.
It was
Yeah.
more
Into-
orchestrated.
Very intimate.
And it was way more intimate.
Yeah.
We wanted to do something different, but I think this time the element of, if I'm just being honest, like paying for tickets, maybe paying at such a price that we tried to like set it at.
Right.
We definitely learned from that situation. Not that it wasn't like great or anything like that, but in putting together something like that, I almost feel like the model should have stayed the same as far as free event.
Yeah.
For the first one.
For the first,
Because you
like,
can never duplicate the feeling of
but
like
you
a
can
free.
never duplicate that.
Because that was
feeling,
like,
man.
dude, like you gotta understand, like
Just
this is like,
vibes.
you know, during the pandemic, we were raging, bro. Like 300 people in that bitch.
Yeah.
Even though it's not
Like-
even about duplicating and it wasn't like the first event, the second one was still good because we came in on our black tie shit.
Yeah,
That's
Like
bro,
it was still
yeah.
a good event. Mahal, shout out to Zoe
Shout out
and
to
Cass.
Mahal,
They were
yeah,
there
yeah.
Shout out to
as
Mahal.
vendors. There
Yeah.
was an open bar.
Yeah,
and a
man,
lot
they
of
were
our friends-
cooking.
Dude,
Yeah.
they were hitting.
That was
Shout
good
out to
food,
them
man.
because
They
I would be
made sure
walking
we
by.
did not die. They're like,
Yeah, I
shout
would
out
be
to
walking
Mahal.
by.
Shout out
Cause
to Mahal.
Cass
Yeah.
has such a mom instinct. Like she'd be like, Daniel,
Yeah, shout
here,
out Cass.
and she'd give me like a little shot glass of whatever, like the little pork belly
Yeah,
pico de
the
gallo
lechon.
type
Yes,
situation
Yes, that was
was.
good.
I'd walk around and I'd be like, okay, I gotta go get a drink. I gotta socialize with the people. And
Yeah.
she's like,
Grown up,
Cass would be
yeah.
like, Daniel, and I'd be like, okay, thank you. Like such a good experience. Shout
Yeah,
out
bro.
Cass.
Yeah, shout out, man. And like, so the whole reason for the pop up as well, what I know is the transformation from Larry G to Cabus.
Right.
So, like, what would you say, like, you know, what's the difference between Larry G and Cabus?
What
Like,
went into that metamorphosis?
Man, I think, well, what went into it initially is Caleb, the producer and co-songwriter of the project, was hit me up before any of this started. And he's like, I want to work on a project with you, like do a full-on like EP, but you gotta do one thing. And I was like, what? He's like, you gotta drop the Larry G thing. You gotta do something different. And I was like, I kind of took it like, not necessarily as a challenge, but I was like, yeah. And the reason why, and this is no disrespect to everything that the people that helped put together Larry G and all that stuff had done, I think I was just at a stage in my life where I felt like I needed to do something different and I needed to kind of separate myself from that space. And so that's when I came up with the name Cabus, which is my mom's maiden name and my middle name. And so I was like, yeah, I was all for it. And Cabus, I mean, as far as sonically is more pop, alternative, but really can do whatever he wants. Whereas I feel like Larry G is soul music.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you feel like it was necessary because it gave you a lot more creative freedom?
Creative freedom, but also for the first time ever, when you say freedom, it was the first time I ever trusted another songwriter to like really do
Write
his
the song.
thing, write the songs, and then me just have like simple input. But what I will say about the experience with them is, one, he writes great songs, but two, how hard he pushed me in the booth, because
Yeah.
there were a lot of nights where I got home feeling insecure because of just like how bad I sounded on all the takes and stuff. But him and Grant Thompson, shout out to Grant, shout out to
Shout out to Grant,
Caleb.
man.
They did an amazing job on the project. And yeah, man, I feel like all the work that I put in the studio was attributed to how hard they pushed me.
Yeah, man,
That's
and
great.
it was cool because like I was like in the studio pretty much for like the whole EP. Like,
He came
recording.
into the studio.
Yeah, I was like, dude, this is dope. Like, what the fuck?
Do you have any
Like,
writing credits? Production credits?
Nah, I wouldn't say production credits, but I was definitely there when like
Vibes
How's It
credit.
Feel?
Vibe
Vibes
credit.
credit.
Vibe veteran. Yeah, I
He's a
got
cur- he's a-
Executive
he's a
vibes.
curator of vibes.
curator of the vibes. But I remember I was there for How's It Feel. Don't Need You was amazing. I remember when Chris came with the horns.
Yeah.
That
well,
shit was crazy.
shout out to Daniel Hardaway,
Yeah.
who came in and played the horns on Don't Need You.
Yes.
And
It's one of my
Who You
nicknames.
Are. He actually is now one of the Night Sweats. So Nathaniel Ratliff and the Night Sweats. He
Oh,
actually joined them,
wow.
and now he's touring the world.
With
man.
Harry Potter?
No, he just played Fallon the other night, man.
Yeah, dude, he actually
Sheesh.
did. He has credits on Tyler's album.
Tyler's
Yeah.
album too.
Yeah, he did the horns on.
That was so cool that I was like, hey man, can you come and lay some stuff? He's like, sure. Came in, didn't ask for anything, just did his thing, and
Yeah.
You
He
know,
killed it.
damn.
And he legit.
and
I walked in
he'll
there
show
just-
up anytime.
Yeah.
Like if he's in town and I ask him, he'll pull up. But I
Yeah.
feel like he's just one of those guys, you know, like in the project of Larry G that we can get into it if we want, but I feel like he's one of those people that actually didn't change on me.
So
What
going
do you
back,
mean by change on you? Like when you say that something.
Larry G, I feel was a great project, and there was a lot of cool things that we did. Obviously, the Jimmy Kimmel spot was a really good look. That kind of did a lot, you know, as far as get eyes on me, and then opened up the door for a lot of opportunities. We did a lot of showcasing, you know, in the East and West Coast, and just that crew and like the people that were around me back then. You know, like you see it in the movies, and you see like how people change
Yeah.
when things are popping, and then when things aren't popping, and how you like look around and everyone's gone, you know, or no one, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your situation changes. And I felt like at a point, there was a point, and I kind of got down on myself a little bit about it, but it was just like when you feel like when you walk into a room and you see the people who you did work with and you did stuff before, and you just feel, I'm all about energy, like that's me, but I can always sense when the energy's off. And when I was around them and they were treating me differently, you know, and stuff like that,
Can be discouraging.
it can be discouraging. But I will say, to that point, I went through a lot of therapy, not based off of that. I was off of a relationship, but during that time with the therapist, I learned to stop making myself the victim and actually empathize more so with the people that I was feeling ill will towards. And so it made me kind of just appreciate the time that we had together and be more
Instead of
grateful
questioning,
for those
right?
moments instead of questioning or thinking, because at the end of the day, like we all live and go through like different scenarios in life. So they could be going through something that I don't know. And who am I to say like, yeah, y'all was doing me wrong, when I don't know if maybe they felt I was doing them wrong or something like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, all I have control over is being grateful for the opportunity that we had together to share. And so I look at it now more so fondly and less like discouraged.
That's a
Wow.
great aspect, and like, just not just with music, but you know,
Yeah.
In
try to
general, in
really
any social
yeah.
setting, right?
Yeah, trying to. Damn, that's deep. Pause.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Cabus is just a baby. It's a new project. But like Larry G, man, that there was a lot of I would say that I grew up like a lot, like as a person, like through the ups and the downs. Because I will say this is like people are like always be present in the situations that you're at. And I was never present during those moments because I was always thinking about the next thing, or I was thinking about getting a bag, or I was thinking about the record deal, and was pushing so hard that I didn't really get to appreciate the moments or actually the people that were involved with those moments, like with me, because I was so concerned about making it. And now with Cabus, I'm not trying to make it. I'm just enjoying it. You know, like the other night at the Modern, playing that show, and I was just grateful because back then, like I would, some people would drink and stuff back, you would just do everything to kind of get yourself loose and stuff. Like on a night like last weekend, or even stuff like before, I don't need that stuff. Like I feel like more grounded than I ever been, in the sense where I'm so just grateful. I'm just grateful that anyone gives a shit to like hear me sing, or just to be there, and then just to have my parents there. And
that was a big
That was
thing.
beautiful,
That
bro.
was a beautiful
Huge,
thing. It was
man.
the first time your dad
first
seen you.
time my dad's ever seen me perform.
Amazing. And an amazing venue too, at the Fort Worth Modern.
Yeah, I
What way
feel
to
like
do
the
it.
setting was perfect for my dad and my mom, just because
Right.
they're so religious
Right.
that I feel like for them to be at something like that instead of like maybe at a club where they might feel a little bit,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, that
Modern Art Museum seems like a
It was
Yeah.
it was beautiful. It was
Amazing.
Yeah,
great.
it was
show,
really
man.
nice, man. Shout out to Spaceman and
Shout out Spaceman.
Natty,
You know
my
what I'm
cousin
saying?
Grant. But the Greenhouse crew really made it happen. So
Yo, shout
big
out.
love
Shout
to
out to
them,
them,
man.
by the
Yeah,
way.
shout out
Yeah.
them.
They be coming
They're,
through
they're
clutch.
the multiverse us.
Yeah,
You know?
They're Fort Worth us.
Yeah, they're Fort Worth us. You know what I mean? But
That's so funny.
no, man, and that's why like I really appreciate like the album so much because I've seen it come from ground zero to what it is now, and like from the mixing and the mastering and stuff, and like the little things I hear, I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. But like also
the text
song,
message when I would be sending, or we would talk on the phone, like, "Yo, what did you think about this?
Yeah,
What did you think about that?"
Yeah.
You know, and then having you guys, you know,
Yeah.
come through and get to listen to it. I mean, like that was a long time ago.
right.
Like when you think
When
about
you
it,
think about
It
that, it was a
was.
long time.
Yeah.
a year and a half ago.
yeah,
More
I
than
mean,
a year and a
more
half
than a
ago.
year,
Was it the
maybe
beginning
two.
of 2020?
it's like 2 years, man.
Probably 2 years.
Almost 3 now, like 2.5.
Wow.
Or
And
And like I
something.
said, like you said, like you just mentioned, I'm grateful for that experience because I've never been
Yeah.
to a studio listening
Thanks, man.
session. I've never, I don't go to a studio listening for pop music, right? I'm
Right.
rap in Spanish, right?
Yeah,
But I was there. I enjoyed it. I appreciate the music. I
Yeah.
like the music because I was there physically, right?
Yeah,
And you saw them. I feel like you heard the songs that they're raw,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
bones.
like I saw
you were
them
still
working on
raw.
it.
I vividly remember like one of those like sessions you would ask us like individually like, yo, what do you like about this? What do you not like? And we'd be
Yeah.
honest, like, yo, this was clean. This was, you know,
Yeah.
I didn't really fuck with this. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
you know.
I like that, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is like I don't really take criticism like to heart. You know,
Right.
like people aren't always gonna love you, but also when it comes to like getting constructive feedback from people like yourselves,
right.
you know, who maybe pop music isn't like your forte when it comes to, it still means a lot because you hear
Right.
things, your ears different than someone who listens to
Right.
pop. And so I will take that any day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I'd have been like, where are the 808s?
Yeah, wait, yo, can you turn the headphones up a little bit?
I think when we,
Did
I
the
think
beat
when
go
we
off?
listened, I think when we heard that slow one, Poison,
Poison.
I felt like y'all were feeling that.
Yeah,
Oh, we
it's
also a lot of the
songwriting,
music.
the whole thing.
It
You know what I'm
was-
saying?
yeah,
Like,
it was
the
vibes.
songwriting is amazing on it because you could definitely hear your feelings on there.
Yeah.
We were
know what I'm
mixing
saying?
that all the way to the very end till you guys actually came into
Yeah.
the room. Grant was mixing. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm mixing, but
Right. Yeah.
we
right,
were
yeah,
trying to get it. I was like, we thought the listening session would be ready,
Right.
and then it wasn't, and that's why we were like taking forever to get you guys in there.
Yeah, because I remember y'all were working in the studio and we were on the outside drinking
Yeah.
beer and eating Little Caesars pizza.
Yes.
Oh, I remember the Little
I got a bunch of Little Caesars
Yeah.
pizza, man.
Little Caesars.
Damn.
Hit me up.
Hey, pizza.
Yeah.
For real.
If it's a sponsor of the NFL.
They got a
Are
bag.
they really?
Yes, bro.
Oh,
They're
damn.
they're
Fuck
sponsored the
Yo.
NFL now.
Dang, that's crazy.
Hey, we came up, boys.
We came up.
came
man, you know what
up.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Stock
yeah,
That's
owner.
Big
yeah.
Caesar.
Yeah, yeah.
Papa Caesars.
But no, it was definitely like a great listening party. Like going back to the yoga girl, I think that was like one of the highlights
He's stuck
of
on
the
the
party.
yoga
That
girl.
was hilarious. Like if people don't know,
You got to
about the
talk
story,
about it.
Yeah, I
Shout out to Josh.
Shout out Josh.
Josh is actually the executive producer
he
of
is
the
shout,
album.
no
man.
Josh. Shout
Like-
out Josh, man.
Like the EP, like Psycho, doesn't happen unless Josh is a part of it because
facts because even when the pop up one happened, it was his birthday.
it was his 40th birthday.
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't know he's the main guy. He funded the whole thing.
Nice.
Damn, that's crazy.
I feel like he was pretty involved. Like every time I saw you, like he was there, like with the
Always
music as well.
involved.
So that's hey,
He's
shout out
definitely
Josh.
played it. Yeah, that's like when I was talking about one of those people that never changed. He stayed the same.
And it's
And that's
crazy
cool.
because like the pop up one when it was his birthday, I was like, man, like this is so like amazing because I remember we were all like, yo, this would be awesome. Like everybody who opened, like it was amazing.
All the openers, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And like with all the little vendors, like everything that went into it, you're like, this is how I'm going to introduce Cabus. And I think that's why this project is special because it's kind of like a perfect rollout because you look at musicians now like Travis Scott and, you know, Kanye doing the Donda stuff and like they give you an experience for the album. That's why people will like always hype up for the album. So the way you have now, it kind of reminds me of like the Dondas. Like you were the OG, you were Donda before Donda.
Oh, no.
You know?
It may
Oh,
not be
man.
Mercedes Stadium, but
Yeah,
it was still
yeah.
exactly it had the same impact.
Exactly.
same
And,
vibe,
and
same
it
vibe.
wasn't like the music came out right away.
Yeah.
We were like,
Yeah.
here it is, but it'll come out like 3 years from now.
Larry doing curls.
You know what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
Live streaming.
man.
He was in the studio just.
Exactly.
But you know, going back to when you said you did Jimmy Kimmel, that's a really
That's
big
crazy.
deal. So like,
Yeah.
tell us like how did you get the call? Like what happened? Like your
So
experience.
that year I came out with the only EP that Larry G, that project ever released was in 2011. Yeah, and then the following year, actually 2010, and then 2011 we got put on the Warp Tour.
yeah,
And then during our time on the Warp Tour, basically the company that got us on had another contest where they were like, if you submit, one of the guys on the inside was like, yo, I'm just telling you now, if you submit your stuff, you'll win this contest to get on Jimmy Kimmel.
Damn.
Jeez.
And it was cool because he was our tour manager for the show. I can say this now because this company ain't exist at all. But it was one of the, like, it was a cool opportunity. And I'll say this too, like as advice, like submit your stuff to as many things as possible. Like as an
Right.
artist on the come up, whatever. Cause that's what I did. I would always do that. I would submit like all the time. I would send out, this is when the blogs and stuff were like hype back then. So like
Tumblr era. We were just talking about
exactly,
Tumblr.
man.
Yeah.
I would
Retumbled.
send like 500 emails a day, acting like someone else. And
You were catfishing.
yeah, I was
remember
I was
you told
pitching.
me
I
this.
was pitching
For
like
business
It's kind of
purposes.
genius.
I was
Oh.
I was pitching like
No
a,
Manti Taylor
like
shit.
I was pitching like a publicist before I had one ever, and for every 500, I would get like 1 or 2 or 3, but no one knows how many I pitched. I would
Right.
post that stuff on my page as if it was like the best thing since sliced bread. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And it
okay.
was, you know, but at the same time, it was just like, as long as it keeps you consistent and relevant,
Right.
that's all that matters. And so
Right.
along with like doing stuff like that, there are all these contests. So I would just submit all the time. And then I saw this one for the Warp Tour. I randomly sent our stuff in, and it's the Warp Tour. So like, who's
Yeah.
gonna really like listen to a soul act? Like, who's gonna? And they did. They liked it because it was different.
Right.
And so we got put on the Warp Tour for like the second half of it.
right.
That we drove up to Detroit and then got picked up by this bus by the company that did it. So it was like my first time like ever going on a tour. On a bus.
That's crazy.
No. So here's the deal. We get back from the tour and then the dude, he's like, yo, submit your stuff for this thing. I think you have a good shot. I'm just saying, but don't say anything that I said it. So I was like, okay. So we submitted, and went through this process where his staff or whatever looked at all like the artists that were performing, and then he was the last one to decide. So he looked at all this footage and chose us.
Oh wow.
And but then we found out that we were going to Kimmel, and I didn't know, and
Right.
I was trying to act as if like we weren't gonna go. So I had already booked a ticket to my sister's. She was turning 40 in New York, so we were out in New York, and then we ended up having to go take a red eye to
LA.
LA.
Damn.
Sheesh.
So tell me about the experience of once you get to LA. Like, what's it like? Like the day, the weather.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I was like, once in a lifetime, we're gonna do it big. So we stayed at right next to the building at the Roosevelt Hotel, which is a vibe. And we get there, and the guy that's checking us in, he's Filipino, and I tell him like what I'm doing, and he's like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna hook you up just because whatever." He puts us in this like suite and stuff.
What?
You walk in, the glasses like doors go like that,
Jeez.
and then you walk inside, and I mean,
You're gonna have a hangover night.
it was a great night. It was
Dude, what a
great night.
pickup line like, yo, I just did Kimmel. Like, what's up?
Yeah, I was, but at that point, I was seeing someone at the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
You're better than me, Chris.
I
I would have been at Delilah. I would have been at
Like
Delilah.
walking around the street. I was on Kimmel.
You thought I was feeling you?
But you want to know like the worst thing I did that time? So we perform on Kimmel.
Oh.
It's a vibe. We go to the Roosevelt. We're hanging out. We watch it with my friend, with the band and stuff. So we go out, and in the Roosevelt they actually have a bowling alley. So we're in the bowling alley and we're hanging out. I just started seeing this girl, mind you, and I was I had issues with jealousy at the time.
Oh.
And then the actor Michael Pena was there.
AntMan?
Yeah.
Dang.
End of watch Michael Pena?
Luis?
He was there, and he was totally not in a bad way. He was just talking to her, the girl I was seeing. And I got
You almost fought
in
an
a rage
Avenger?
jealous
Oh,
and stormed out that night, and it ruined like the whole night.
oh.
Dang.
Was walking the streets of LA just mad.
Dang, bro. So you gave Ant-Man a 0 out of 5.
And it was nothing about him. It was just me making up stuff in my head about whatever, and it was nothing. So that's my bad. But that I wish.
You ever seen End of Watch?
No, I haven't.
That's a great
It is
movie,
good.
by the way.
No.
I wouldn't be mad. It's a great movie.
Jeez.
But I was,
no, I mean,
I understand.
like
I
that.
understand.
It'd be like
you
that.
know,
But, like,
it's different in that situation.
I mean, did you get to meet Kimmel? Did you how was it like backstage? Were you nervous?
No, let's backtrack. I want the from the beginning of
so
your
we
day.
get to
Yeah.
Soundcheck. We go into Soundcheck, and it looks smaller in person. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Than the stage and everything.
Right.
But we do the sound check, and like the people that are working are like, yo,
Yeah.
like that was amazing. Like, I can't wait to hear this stuff tonight. So we're just getting really hyped. And I'm like, I want to get a haircut.
Oh.
So I go to this place that I should never have gone to, and I got like the worst haircut ever. So that had already been like going at me. And then that night I signed a deal with a management company. And that same night,
The night that you did Kimmel?
yeah, that same
shit.
night before I got on stage, one of the managers told me, you need to lose 50 pounds. So I'm hearing that, and I'm about to go on national television.
Holy shit.
So I was just
Damn.
not in the right place, kind of, in a way.
Really?
Yeah.
And they talk about Hollywood being shallow, but dang.
Yeah. And
Jeez.
then they're like telling me, which this is true, like, television adds 10 pounds. You got to take your health seriously. You got to lose 50 pounds. And I'm like, okay. And I'm signing this contract, which in hindsight I probably should have never done.
Bad
but-
contract?
No, but
You
I'm
feel
just
like
going to
you-
leave it at that.
That's
Oh,
fair. That's
okay,
fair.
that's fair. Are you still signed with them or?
No,
Okay.
no, man. No. And that's no disrespect, man.
Yeah.
I think now where I'm at now, I take my time on decisions and I think about them instead of acting on them like right away. I mean, we were told a lot of things, or I was told a lot of things of what could be done, what would happen.
Right.
Some things happened, some things didn't.
Right.
But I think that's kind of like the gamble that you take when you go into music. You're really rolling the dice.
Yeah.
And you never know. So that was going on, but we get on stage, man, and as soon as the lights go on, man, it's like any other show. Like, I feel like for me, like especially with the Larry G project, I just turn into someone else and I just go. And I treated it like a show. Like, I was like, what's happening in LA? Like, who's saying that on TV? You know what I'm saying? I was like, make some noise.
A natural.
It was like so much fun. Like, and the adrenaline was running. And I remember, man, we got back, or just from that moment, it was like, you're going to get signed, man. Your life's going to change. This is going to happen to you. Like, I had so many people in my ear telling me, like, this is everything that you would want to hear. It was like, I wouldn't say yes, man, but almost felt like it. We're going to get you on this. We're going to get you on that. And you have that with you. And there were like some really cool, like, we played some music festivals. We played South by Southwest, like, officially. We did like cool things. But, like I said, when it got to the point of like showcasing for labels, they were always like, great performance. We just don't have the songs. And so it was like, they would tell me, like we need to get you out to LA, like maybe work with someone else different than the person who you've been working with, who basically got me on Kimmel, who basically got me where I am. So I, instead of like trying to like make it work, you know, with figuring that out, I went and I spent money like to write with these people, you know, and those songs will never see the light of day.
Jeez.
Why is that?
They just didn't hit with the labels. And around that time, like it's when I started feeling like the pressure of everything, like I wouldn't say falling apart, but just not working out. You just know, like deep down inside, man, this thing, you had a shot and it didn't happen. So
I mean, do you feel like with record labels now, like you see more artists be like independent, being their own manager and things of that nature? Do you feel like that's the best route now, or do you feel like record labels are more beneficial?
That's a good question. I'll say this, that if you can build yourself up as an artist without the help of a label, that's the best way to go. Because at the end of the day, you want a label to work for you. You don't want to work for the label. You want to be able to control how the deal is made. And what's great about social media and all these people who get viral on TikTok and stuff, not saying that it's a great thing, but they kind of can call the shots. You know, they're not having to, you know, bow down or think of a label. Labels can offer a lot, but at the end of the day, whatever they offer, you're going to have to pay them back. You know, and it gets disguised in the sense of like, I'm signing this deal, I'm going to get $4 million. But every expense that you make towards whatever you do in that project, you have to pay back like almost double of that stuff. Damn. And so that's why, you know, like I have respect a lot for like artists who are self-made. And I think like what's great about the landscape of music and just everything in general, like almost entertainment, society, whatever, is you can really build your brand up without having to lean on the help or services of a label. They're not going to like that. Would I still sign with a label? Yeah, I still would, you know? But at the same time, like I'm in a different, you know, space in my life.
Do you feel like if you would have done things differently in the past, like in that stage, you would be somewhere else now?
Yes, I do. And it's not, and I say that not saying it in the way like shoulda, woulda, coulda kind of thing, and I wish, and I feel like so sad. I'm just like, knowing what I know now, I would have moved way differently. Moved way differently. I would have actually been more present with the people that I was like in the trenches with. Like those people, again, going back to like the people who aren't there anymore or whatever, I probably would have been more present instead of less like focused on the wrong things. That's the thing. I felt like I was just focused on like the wrong thing, the wrong person, you know, like trying to make everyone happy except myself, you know, thinking about what should I wear, you know, when, you know, what I love about society now, you know, and today, and seeing like my nieces and, you know, them and how they're growing up. Kids these days can smell the fake from the real. And that's why I feel like you're getting a lot more people who are genuine. That's why mental health is such a big thing. That's why it's okay to talk about feelings. It's okay to like deal with shit, is because back then it was all polished. You know, back then they were like, yo, Larry, wear a suit, wear a bow tie, have your hair, wear a pompadour, you know, dress like this, you'll look good. You know what I'm saying? It was always this curated look. It was like Bruno Mars, you know what I'm saying? And parts of it was me, and then parts of it just wasn't, man. At the end of the day, I love t-shirts and, you know, like relaxed clothing, you know? But at the same time, like, you're right. When you go to it, man, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would do it differently. And I'm okay with what happened. Like, I'm happy with, you know, where I'm at today. I was telling, you know, a friend, like, he actually just signed a really great deal with Capitol Records. And he's like one of like my good friends. Like, we were in a band together. His band's name is Ocean and the Ghost. And we have a long history. We played in bands when we were young and stuff and just growing up. But I was telling him, like, I've never been so happy in my life than I am right now, you know? And I think like a lot of it has to do with the people that I surround myself with, just seeing life how it is, being more present, you know, like as a person, and then also being empathetic, you know, has like really helped me, you know, out and seeing, because we're in a toxic society and people are so, you can feel the energy, like the temperature and the social climate and like how it is that people will just go after one person if you're this way or go after one person if you're that way. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I just
really kill off people's character.
It kills, man. And I see what people see and I try to be empathetic to like stuff like that. But I'm just happy, man. Like I'm so blessed, you know, I'm blessed to be like in a spot like this with you guys. And just, you know, it's great to be alive. And I'm at that point, man. It's like I've done so much like cool stuff. I've been like to some really great places, but man, if it ended, you know, today or whatever, like I would be just fine because I'm happy, man.
That's awesome.
And you've been a mentor to us, man. Like every
Appreciate
time we
man.
do our thing, we're like, yo, like comfort, advice, all that stuff, man. Yeah, I've known you for a long time now.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it. And from the jump, man, you were always cool.
No, I appreciate it, bro.
You're always cool.
Talk about how y'all met.
Talk about how we met, should I say?
Go ahead, man.
All right, calm. Yeah. Well, so, well, we have, I went to college at Wade or whatever, and I interned for his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Girlfriend's PR firm.
Yeah.
So I met him. I met, you know, Gabby. I met, you know, a lot of great people, Collie, Alex. You know what I'm saying? That Milan. All you see, like
you know what's crazy?
It's like Baby Goat.
Tyler worked with her
Tyler
as well.
too. Yeah.
And he was like, man, he said this like the first day when I was like kind of training him. He was like, I don't know, I just want to say this, but I don't want you to feel weird about it. And I was like, just say it. He goes, I just think like how crazy it is, like everyone came from under that umbrella and like how everyone is thriving. And I was like, man, that's so cool.
Like little baby goats. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's
she really did have an eye and an understanding for like putting together like the people that she did. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy for her.
It's like Dallas's Donda Academy. So many people, so many kids came at it because I don't know them, right? I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't know him at that moment, but he always talks about that. And when we meet other people, it always goes back to that.
It's like, oh, you were Culture Hype too? It's like, we have our tattoos right here.
Yeah, man.
CH. But, no, I mean, that's how we met. And I remember, like, Larry always being, like, really cool. You know what I'm saying?
We talked about Kobe. That was how we got tight.
That's right.
Stuff.
R.I.P. Kobe the GOAT.
Yes.
But yeah, no, like that's how we got close. And then
what year was that?
2015, 16?
Something like that.
15, I think. Like I think 2015, I think. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Damn. But yeah, no, I mean,
man.
And we've been friends ever since. I mean, I think when we were both going through a lot of shit, we hit each other up like, yo, what's up? And then Bone House, shout out Bone House, my favorite place in America.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we would go to Bone House and we became like good friends, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm blessed to see the success you've done, bro. Like allowing me to like do the pop-up one, which I was so nervous because that was the first gig I've ever done hosting. Like I was like, oh shit, like this is a lot.
That's
of people.
Surprising, man. And I mean, I always just love like how you guys interacted with each other. Right. And that's just me from like afar. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, you know, like I like what you guys do and how you guys, you know, are just real people. You make fun of each other. Like that's you know what I'm saying?
We really do.
But at the end of the day, this is the brand. Y'all big yourself up and you've built a brand like over time. And, you know, here we are, you know, at your place. And so to see you guys' rise has been awesome.
Jeez, man, I appreciate
Thank you. That means a lot.
It honestly, it's great to have friends who push you.
Yeah, man.
And I mean, like y'all's success and how you guys move is also a good thing, like for someone like me, because I watch, you know, like online and stuff, and I see how people, you know, do their thing, and you guys are really. One thing I love and I'll always say is be consistent with your content. You know what I'm saying? Then you guys are very good about doing that.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I appreciate that, man.
I mean, this whole platform was created to like appreciate people from Dallas.
Oh
to
man,
put
that's
them
so
on
cool.
and to give them their flowers, and that's why you're here, man. Because
I
I
appreciate
appreciate
it,
for
man.
everything that you've done to us, and I'm
Thank
glad
you,
y'all
man.
met and y'all became friends because
Thank
then
you.
he introduced us to you.
Yeah.
And like I said,
Everyone
like
bring
you,
it in.
you invited me to
Bring it
that
in,
experience
cool
in the
vibes.
studio.
Yeah, man.
You
For
gave us
real.
opportunities. Pop
Yeah.
up 1, pop up 2.
Yeah.
You invited us to the most recent one last weekend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the forward
like
that
you
was
said, like
amazing.
it's good instead of a different perspective, right? To be grateful for what you're doing right now.
Yeah, man. It's really cool. I mean, the funny thing, man, is like the light on maybe like what I do is a lot different than it was back then.
Right.
And I'm so much more happier like with it the way it is. Like I wouldn't have it any other way because I feel like with this Cabus project, I'm in the trenches. Like I'm just building this thing
You're
up.
happier living on your terms.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happier living on my terms. I mean, like, how many people can like really say that? I found a great company, Artist Uprising, that I work with.
Shout out to
Artist Uprising. And it all started from my friend who signed with Capital. He called me up one day and asked, "Hey man, are you looking like for work?" And at the time I was just driving Uber, you know, and I wasn't doing anything. It was a pandemic. He's like, "I need someone to like pick up shifts at this photography studio." And I hadn't really thought about it, but I started working there and I picked up a camera, started shooting photos, and
It's crazy how it works out, right?
yeah, man.
Yeah.
And then from there, then I ended up getting hired by the company to work in their marketing department, and my boss is Shabby. Shout out to Shabby. People's Revolt, you know.
People's Revolt,
And she's my manager. I work in the marketing department, but
That's
pretty
good.
much I do whatever needs to be done.
Right.
Y'all
know.
have a whole podcast as
We got a
well?
Yeah, man,
podcast
you have a
too.
whole little podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
I love
cool.
the
Shout
very
out to
cool.
Megan.
Yeah,
Megan,
shout out
Are
Alicia.
we gonna be on the Artist Uprising podcast?
We can make it happen.
Hey man, hey,
Hey,
I'm
one
on
for
it.
one.
You never
said
know.
You this,
Hey,
and
yeah,
you said
hey,
it.
yeah.
You
what
never
I'm
know.
saying?
Well, here's the thing. I don't
Oh yeah,
do
that's
the guests.
right.
Our
Fair
people will
man.
talk to your people. Gabby will talk
Yeah,
to
yeah,
your
yeah.
We'll stay
yes,
in touch.
yes, yes.
Gabby, go ahead and get we'll
Yeah.
get emails later. But yeah, no, man, it's just like, would you ever have a versus Larry versus Cabus? Larry G versus Cabus?
No.
Would you tell Triller?
It's
yo,
like, it's, like,
Triller.
it's like Diddy versus Puff Daddy.
Yo, I don't have enough. I don't have a body of work to like even do nothing, man. It would be
No,
like it'd be
man.
30 minutes or something. But no, man. There's no way.
We might
But
have to host
I
that.
am excited, man. I'm gonna start working on the new Cabus stuff too.
Okay.
Speaking of, you got a whole project releasing, man. The EP. I mean, that's why we
Yeah,
here.
that's what we hear.
That's
You
why
know what
we're
I'm saying?
here,
And the
man.
merch goes hard. The merch goes hard.
Thank you.
Let
Shout
them
out to
know.
Magdiel
Yeah.
Lopez
Yeah.
who did that
Yeah.
right there.
I'll
Yo.
fucks with it.
Yeah,
Fire,
man.
Fire. But yeah, no, so yeah, going to the EP, what is your favorite track? But what track means to you the most?
Okay, so it's different when you say that. There's two that are like my favorite,
Okay.
which is Call
Okay.
and Fangs. Like
I love Fame.
those are like my favorite just because I like listening to them. But the one that I feel like I love the most is the one that's coming out. The last single we're releasing, the one that we just shot a music video for. Poison.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really talking about the end of a relationship. And what I love about it is it represents kind of like the end,
Right.
but also the beginning,
Okay.
of what became Cabus.
And that's a beautiful song too. You know what I'm saying? We heard it. We're exclusive members of the Cabus fam.
It was
Cabus crew.
when we
crew.
recorded that, we had the lights off in the room where the vocals were being done, but there were moments where it was hard to sing because I would get choked up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was, man, I love those studio sessions though. Like, you're like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" I was like, "Nothing, what's up?" And I was like, "Yo, you want to come to the studio?" Fuck yeah, we'll go in the studio.
And we got Austin Reddick who brought in some
Shout out
plants.
Austin, yeah.
Yeah.
The plant god.
Yeah.
Everyone's connected, Like,
Yeah,
up to
man.
something.
He
and
came
just
through.
everyone-
He was there that night for the listening party.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
he was
Remember
at the
that.
listening party.
Yeah.
He was at the listening
He
party.
brought the plants and kind of gave the room some energy and
Ambiance.
stuff, which is great, man.
Yeah, bro. Shout out Austin, man. But like, I mean, so you would say Poison.
Poison.
You would say so. Poison is like the one that like means the most to you, and you would say Fangs is like your favorite.
Fangs is my favorite.
Fangs. The outro to Fangs like makes you levitate.
Yo, nice, man.
It's like, I don't know. It gives you kind of like a Tame Impala feel. You
know
what I'm saying? Like that's for sure.
Yes.
And Poison's like damn, like late night. You can be like really thinking about shit.
Don't Need You is fun too.
Don't Need You is my favorite track you've ever done. I would tell you this all the time. You're my favorite song. Yeah, you know, like damn, like the horns, everything's like
the horns on that shit go crazy. Is that that's the one that
Daniel
really
plays on.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I did notice that like the first time I was like, okay, the hook is catchy and the horns, whoever's playing that shit, killing.
Shit is crazy. Like seeing everything happen, I'm like, yo, this is dope as fuck, man. But like, you were saying? Oh.
The creative process on that, how long was that? Was it frustrating?
Yeah, it was because it was like a stop and go kind of thing. And pandemic, and you're waiting in between times to like get in the studio and stuff. And there were moments where I just didn't think like it was going to be released. Mm-hmm. But then I think there was a moment, and it was right when Pop-Up 2 happened and we released the first single. I made up my mind at that point. I was like, I'm going to release a body of work. I don't care like how, you know, the process and what it's going like. But we're going to do this.
When did the idea of the project manifest? Like, when did you set your eyes on, you know, I want to get this project out?
It manifested like when I heard the first like the writing sessions and stuff. Mm-hmm. But when we did the pop-up, and before that when we had the listening session and I saw everyone's reaction to the songs, that's when it started brewing inside me. I was like, man, we got to release this like ASAP. And we didn't release it ASAP. Yeah. It just took time and time and time.
Or borrowed time.
Is
that going to be on the EP?
It's on the EP.
Cool.
Yeah.
Dang. So but are you glad that the delays happened the way that they did?
Yeah. Because there's a lot of things in my personal life that happened in the sense of just life changes and stuff. New job, you know. Yeah. That in itself gave me time to like work on the work as like the new job that I'm doing, right. But then also kind of see how the landscape of social media changes every day. And so just seeing like how people like do their stuff and, you know, is inspiring to me. Like I get inspired by it. You know, I believe Steal Like an Artist. There's a book called Steal Like an Artist. And I'm not ashamed to like say that I pick up things from, you know, both national or local artists and stuff. And I'm always wanting to create. Like I always, if I'm not making music, then I want to create like a reel. Right. Or if I'm not this, it's a story.
And that's what I was gonna say. I feel like you've kind of evolved with the times. You know, you were saying you were like the OG catfish emailing, like you know, playing the game how you needed to, but now you doing the reels. So it's pretty impressive the fact that like, you know, you've been doing this for a minute, but
it's like hit or miss. And here's the thing, I still have the Larry G account active on Instagram, so I'll post reels on that just to see how things move and stuff. But I think now, as far as with the album with Cabus, I'm being more careful. Like
it's more calculated.
More calculated with what I'm putting up. But eventually, it'll just go back to just being what it is and stuff. Because I'm not trying to like get signed. I'm not trying to anything. Like I'm releasing music as a guy who's works at a great company, has great friends, and you know just loves to perform when he wants to perform. You said something in a DM where you were like performing at the museum. The museum was great, and I was like, it's crazy to think that because most of my performances haven't been at venues. No. They've been like at the warehouse, at the Pop-Up 2, at this thing, and I think it's been unintentional but intentional, right? And it just makes me feel like.
I think it creates an experience too, man.
Yeah,
like it's not just like okay.
And that show on Saturday, that was an experience, man.
Man.
Oh yeah.
because it wasn't about
hors
just me.
d'oeuvres.
You had all this other stuff going on, you know?
Exactly.
Shout out to Sonia, Jessica, and all of them at the Modern for putting that on.
For sure, man. But man, thank you.
Yeah.
For all this, bro. Like, this has been a long time coming. We gave you your flowers earlier. You're an amazing friend. You're an amazing mentor. We appreciate you.
And well, thank you guys so much. I'm big fans. Love you guys.
Yeah, you reposting our stuff. You be like, yo, like, this was a funny episode. Blah blah blah. You know, you be telling me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, bro.
Everything.
And I appreciate you putting like my DJ set as your artwork as for one of the singles.
Yes.
That's crazy. I didn't catch it until
well, because if you look at that photo, that's a timeless photo.
Yeah,
that
is.
I don't know if you've seen the cover of Borrowed Time. I changed it to the photo of there. You see everyone's faces.
Yeah,
and there were so many moments that night where I shot some stuff where you could just see everyone was just the smiles on people's faces.
That was a great event.
And that just made me feel like we are living like, you know, on Borrowed Time. Let's just have fun with what we got.
Hey, Pop-Up 3, I'll DJ.
You never know. You never know, man.
What's the word on the Pop-Up 3?
Yeah, what's up?
I don't know, like, if it'll happen, but if it does, man,
let me know. I gotta bring
you guys will always be a part of the pop-up, man. There's no way that it can't. Like, you guys not being a part of it is not how it works. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
that's love.
Yeah.
There's no pop-up without Up to Something.
Exactly.
No party.
Exactly,
pop up
man.
to something.
Hey, let me tell you something, bro. Pop-Up 3, let me know, man. I can DJ. I can do whatever. Let me know. You know it.
You know what they always say about 3, man?
Hey, the 3-peat. That's all I'm saying.
3-peat.
3-peat. The 3-peat, hey.
Okay.
Think about it. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But
this has been a great experience, man.
Dude,
shout out to Up to Something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cabus Psycho EP tomorrow. Well, the 23rd.
It'll be out by the time you see this.
By the time you see this, it's going to be out.
It will be out.
It'll all be racking up streams.
Racking up streams for sure.
Are you ready for more groupies now?
You don't have to answer that.
You don't have to answer it. All right. That's it, you guys. Peace.